Hello boys and girls, my name is Alex, and in this video I'm going to be sharing my personal, very individual experience of staying 1 month and 1 day in Asuncion, capital of Paraguay. If this is something that you find interesting, for example, you're traveling here or going here for some business purposes, or maybe you are obtaining the residency, which became very trendy and very popular because of a pretty straightforward process of obtaining temporary residency here in Paraguay, then keep on watching. Next 15-20 minutes I'm going to be again sharing my individual impressions of this beautiful city. Hey, get away. This is how I used to greet the guests on a cruise ship where I used to work, because right now I'm on vacation, well so-called vacation, an extended vacation. This is how I want to greet you. Maybe it's going to be like a little jingle, so you know that you've encountered this particular channel. So it's hey, get away, why not? So I left Asuncion a few days ago. Right now I'm in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, and I would like to share my experience of Asuncion. First of all, I want to tell you that I've been to Paraguay. This was already my second visit. So first time I visited Paraguay in December 2023. I crossed the border, just crossing the river Paraná, because I was visiting Foz de Iguaçu, city next to Iguaçu Falls, very famous falls that are located at the border between Brazil, Argentina, and Paraguay. So that was a very interesting, unique experience. I spent that time only 2 days in Paraguay, but those 2 days were enough to understand, to have an impression about this country. And this time I arrived to Paraguay after 6 months contract working on a cruise ship. I'm assistant cruise director there, activity manager, whatever you want to call it. So right now I'm on vacation, let's put it this way. So that was my first destination after working 6 months straight, no day offs. So for me, Asuncion was a great choice also, not only because I went there to obtain my residency, but because it's very low-paced city, a lot of things going on, to be honest. But at that time, I needed something a little bit low-key, some place where I could just relax, where I can sleep enough, just watch Netflix or Amazon Prime, whatever it is, watch YouTube. And I was not looking for a lot of different activities and stuff, but again, if you're looking for them, there's gonna be some. I spent in Asuncion 1 month and 1 day. I arrived there 17th of July 2024, and I left 18th of August 2024. I can tell you that was a nice period. There was a winter there, but winter in Paraguay, it's completely different winter than you, my guys, experience. Those of you who are arriving, for example, to Paraguay or to Latin America for the first time. The weather was great. There was only a couple of days when it was raining, because it's kind of colder season for them, even though it's summer. Like technically it's summer, August, whatever, but for them it's winter. So maybe a couple of days there was like 10-12 Celsius. I'm not sure how much that in Fahrenheit, but most of the time there was like 22-26 degrees Celsius, and several times there was like 30-33 Celsius, which for me very comfortable, very nice temperature where you can just easily walk around only with your t-shirt. So it was not very hot. That was like perfect. But they say that in December, January, February, the weather can be extremely hot. Anyway, I haven't encountered that in summer, winter, whatever, you got it. So that's that. What is my impression overall, or I would say who Paraguay would fit? Paraguay for you if you want to experience Latino America for the first time. I found it's very nice and smooth way to dive in to all the benefits, you know, and all the beauty that Latin America and its culture and its people can give you, but you don't have to start with some extremes. Like, for example, I will visit 66 countries of the world, some of them, of course, with a cruise ship because of my job, some of them because I was a solo traveler. Like my last vacation I spent in Brazil. It was 2 months and it was amazing. Before that, I was 2 months in Colombia. It was very nice as well. However, again, if you're not an experienced traveler, or if that's the first time you're living the Western world, and I think Paraguay, it's actually a very nice country to start your Latin American introduction, because relatively everything is very chill here. The pace is very slow of living. There's not much going on. Again, depends what you're up to. You always can find some activities, but I'm comparing. Like, you cannot compare, for example, Asuncion with cities like São Paulo or Buenos Aires or Bogota. Those are like world-class cities, and Asuncion, it's not about that. Overall, Paraguay, very green country of very nice, approachable people. They are very welcoming. There are 2 official languages, Guarani and Spanish, but of course, if you know a little bit of Spanish, you'll be okay. As long as you show some interest that, to the culture, to the people, you're asking the questions, they're going to be more than happy to help you. And all my interactions with people from Paraguay was very positive. Overall, I can tell you I didn't have any tension at all. You know, I've usually are very sensitive to different environments. Sometimes if I can find myself in an environment that is a little bit dodgy or feels not very nice, you know, I can feel that. I can sense that very quickly. Let's put it this way. Not all the time, you know, I'm gonna respond to that, but I can, you know, most of you probably understand what I'm talking about. So there, I felt so nice, comfortable, walking around in the middle of the night. Of course, there are some spots, there are some places that I would say better don't go there, especially in the middle of the night. They're like downtown area, not the safest one. And there are some, you know, outskirts, I'm more than sure, that sort of slums as well exist. But again, you have to be just smart and not flashing with your cell phones all over. Remember, this is a city in Latin America. However, once again, in general, there's nothing to worry about if you're smart enough and if you just be alert, be vigilant, and that's it. How expensive is the city? Well, I was cooking a lot. I didn't go out a lot as I think, or as I used to. However, I did go out on a couple of salsa parties. I did go out in a couple of rooftops. By the way, rooftops are great, top notch. They have a couple of skyscrapers, and some of them they have rooftops with very nice prices, obviously with a nice view. I would also characterize Asuncion as the beautiful sunsets city, because honestly, within those 32 days that I've been there, I've seen like maybe 28 beautiful sunsets. It was just amazing. It's like literally amazing. So if you're looking for the Instagram spot, or you know, the selfie spot, you definitely need to check out Asuncion, and better if you live somewhere up, or at least, you know, catch some rooftops. I was living in the area which they call Las Lomas. It's kind of, I would say, not high-end maybe, but kind of fancy area, very chill, very relaxed. There are some residential areas that have like even their own security, you know, like on the street they have this like a little cabin. So yeah, for you to understand what kind of area is that. But it means that, you know, in the evening I could just take a stroll to the nearest shopping mall. That area has 2 shopping malls. One of them is Paseo Galeria, and the other one is Shopping del Sol. So I was living probably in about 7-10 minutes very slow walk from Shopping del Sol. That area has a lot of nice buildings where you can rent out Airbnb if you're arriving for purposes, let's say, of getting residency. So I kind of recommend you, because you're going to be chilled there. It's safe area. In most of those buildings, there's a lot of amenities. Together with your stay in Airbnb, you can usually get a gym, there's a pool, there is a co-working area. In our co-living, we also had the steam room, laundry, so all that you're gonna find in those new buildings right now. But of course, you can find much cheaper, especially if you're staying for longer. Probably you're gonna need to switch from Airbnb. There's few different ways how you can find offer from the locals. By the way, the culture of Paraguay, it's mouth-to-mouth culture. There's a lot of information that people are passing on to one another just from the meeting one another, and this is great. Actually, this idea was introduced to me during one of the meetings for the Nomads. By the way, they are right now forming very nice community of the expats or the nomads that lives in Asuncion. Everything just starting right there. I'm not a professional, of course. It's not investing advice, but I feel like it's a great time to investing in the country, because right now it becomes more open to the world now getting to know Paraguay better, and Paraguay attracts a lot of, I don't want to say wealthy expats, but you know, the migrants that bring in some value and has money. Brings people with education, middle class, the people you want to be around. If you want to rent out the apartment here, if you're staying here for longer, then you probably would go to different Facebook groups. By the way, on the Facebook, they have this expat group. That expat group gives you access to the WhatsApp groups, and there you can find a lot of information, chat with expats who actually live there or live in there temporary or traveling. Anyway, whoever having some sort of interest in Asuncion. So about my expenses, well, my main expense was renting Airbnb. It was $840 for a month, and I spent $2,200, something like that. But I also made a little surgery. I removed a couple of how to call them, moles, like birthmarks from my back. There was like 5 of them actually, and it cost $400. So I would say, even though I didn't know how to navigate yet, I was treating myself, let's say like this, well, it's possible to spend under 2,000. My goal was actually to stay in a budget within $1,500. Well, you know, it's life, it didn't work out. By the way, I think I'm gonna explain where I was living, because I got a couple of videos from that particular place, and I also shoot a couple of videos upon arrival and departure to the airport. So maybe I can combine that in one video, and I just simply explain you how to get from the airport to the place where you can live, and actually advise you the place where you can live, be in your little bubble, especially if you're arriving just for a couple of weeks or a month like me, for obtaining residency or any other purposes. So stay tuned for that. But briefly, I can tell you that the agent that I work with, that helping me to obtain the residency, they picked me up in the airport. I know that it costs around $5 to get to the place where I'm living. By the way, they're using Bolt and Uber here. You can get Bolt or Uber from the airport. By the way, there is no SIM card. Well, at least I couldn't find the SIM card kiosk, but there is a Wi-Fi. So you can basically order your taxi, your Uber, using the Wi-Fi, and then literally you can see if the car arrived or not, because there's like a, you know, the glass door, sliding door, and the parking lot is just right there. Or maybe if you're using your travel SIM, that you're not going to be having any troubles at all. But I decided that I'm gonna get the local SIM card. Usually, you know, there's a better rates on it, and I'm, you know, planning to be back also in Paraguay. I'm gonna be back there in approximately 2 months. Depends how long is that process of me getting residency gonna take. So I'll be back soon. So there's gonna be more about Paraguay. But yeah, right now I can tell you it was around $5, because I was checking the prices on the way back to get to this place Las Lomas where I was living, which is somewhere in between the airport. Then you can see this Las Lopez, Mariscal, that's like this fancy neighborhoods, and then the downtown. So it was somewhere in the middle. It's very actually nice location because again, you're kind of in between. It's a center, new center as they call it. It's a new center where I kind of recommend you to live. However, again, there's so many other options. I also heard outside of the city you can find a house for rent for $400, sometimes even less, and maybe condo for $300. So it is possible, but you need to do the long term, which is again, if you are arriving only for a couple of weeks, doesn't work. So just stick with Airbnb, you're gonna be fine. So let me go a little bit more into details about the transportation. Now, you know how Google in a big cities can give you option. You can walk, you can do the bicycle, you can do taxi, you can do the public transportation. Well, at least that's what I remember in Kyiv, in my city, because we have a lot of different kind of transportation. Well, the same, I remember I was using Google a lot in New York as well. It just gives you particular even time of arrival of your bus or the metro, whatever you're using, right? So that's basically does not exist in Asuncion, or maybe not yet. It's gonna show you how much time it's gonna take for you to walk or get there with a car, but there's no public transportation as it is. I mean, there are some buses, I have seen them, they look a little bit rough on the edges. I wouldn't recommend you to use them again unless you wanna fully dive into the local experience. Nothing about them, they're probably very cheap. I don't even know how much they cost. But alternative of that is to use Uber or Bolt. By the way, I found Bolt 15 to 20% cheaper actually than using Uber. Most of the times the car will be a little bit more, dodgy, let's put it this, not dodgy, but older than the car from Uber. But again, you need to go 2-3 kilometers and it's, you're a solo traveler. Like me personally, if I need to get from point A to point B, I don't care. But if I would go somewhere, let's say with a lady, then I probably would go with Uber. And I can tell that I was checking, my expenses. None of the rides was more than $5. Most of the rides were like between $1.50 to $3.50. That's how far I would go. Usually it's like 10-15 minutes ride and up to $5. So for you to understand. Something that I notice, and I don't want to criticize particularly Asuncion or drivers of Asuncion, because I've encountered that among the drivers in different parts of the world. There, the driver is the main person on the street, on the road. Pedestrians, you guys, nobody, and cyclists, they not even exist there. That's a little bit sad, because when you crossing the road, even there is the zebra crossroad, believe me, you need to make sure that first of all there is no cars around. If there is a car around and you really need to pass, or the traffic is huge and fast, you need to kind of literally show them that, hey, here am I going, and I have opportunity and I have a right to go here, because that particular culture, let's say like this, it has a lot of potential to grow there. Also from the taxi drivers, I heard that the culture of driving, it's not the best one. But then again, if you're just a passenger, then that should not affect you that much. Now about money-wise, everything is pretty straightforward. I was almost at the time using my PayPass, paying with the phone or with my debit card. I did made some exchange so I could have some cash, but that's, to be honest, at least Asuncion, or at least the way of my expenses, I barely needed cash. I haven't got to the place where there was they were accepting only cash. So it's good to have some. They say in rural areas probably that's the only way, but again, I haven't seen any place where I couldn't use my card. Great success. This is the ATM. There's one actually in front of my place where I live, but it's only for the locals. This one is international one. It was safe to take the money from ATM. I also remember I went to the exchange place in one of the shopping malls, and the rate was okay. So it's not like, for example, like in Argentina, they have like $1, then the other one blue dollar, official dollar, another. No, they just have a very fixed price. It was 7.5 thousand Guarani per dollar, for you to understand. And the meal, like if I would go to the shopping mall and get to a little buffet, for example, I'm vegetarian, so I would go for some vegetarian sushi, get I don't know, spring roll, a little bit of noodles, and it was exactly $5. Now, talking about the nutrition, my nutrition is obviously a little bit different than yours, well, unless you're vegetarian. But this country not actually for vegetarians. Yes, you're gonna find some options being vegan, vegetarian, you just need to look for them. But if you are a carnivore, you are into meat, this culture is definitely for you. They have such a vast variety of a meat, and I know that there's a great quality of a meat here. The production here is, you're gonna be blessed. I'm not gonna be talking about that because that's not my gig. Now, my agency, they also helped me with the purchasing the SIM card. Well, I could do it myself. They just assist me in that. I was having just my passport. I got the Claro card in one of the offices there. I think it was like 17 Guarani, which is like $2.50 for 7 days, and I got a couple of gigas. And then I top it up a couple of times, and I think I top it up overall for around another maybe $13-15. So that's what I spent per month. Everything was around $15, maybe up to 20. I'm thinking right now. I didn't get the app because to get an app, you need to your phone should be registered in Paraguay, or you should use the VPN. I don't know. My VPN didn't work out, and I couldn't download the app. But how to top it up? You basically need to go to pharmacy. You need to go to pharmacy. Just tell them, here's $10. I want to top up this, and then there's few options. I was using Link, but best way is using Claro. You just put the combination. I'll show you right here. What is the combination? Now, about going out. I went out basically on second day after my arrival because I got invitation from my friends. They used to work with me on a cruise ship, and they are from Paraguay, and they are a music band. And they invited me to this party place. It's a salsa place run by Cubans. So there was this live music. It's a restaurant, and then it was a very casual social salsa class. So kind of recommend you to check this place. It's called Oye Chico. They have parties on Friday and Saturday. They open every day. Again, you need to check it out. I'm gonna leave information about them down below. Also, if you want to learn how to dance salsa or bachata, there's a Mao Chun. It's more again a club that focus more on learning how to dance salsa, but they do also some social events for everybody. Also, I went to cinema a couple of times. If you go into cinema, it's going to be shopping del Sol, for example. That's where I went. Then you're probably going to pay around $5 per ticket. And what I suggest you to check as I think it's called SB, subtitulado, subtitled, right? That's the video that you want to watch. That's basically original movie you're gonna watch. Otherwise, if you see doblado, it means it's gonna be dubbed, so it's gonna be in Spanish. Maybe you wanna watch I don't know, Deadpool in Spanish. Why not? But there's no problem with it. You know, like in some countries they dubbing everything. Here you can find all the movies original. If you want to order something, there is application with the name Pedidos Ya. I haven't used it, but I have seen my neighbors were using it and it works fine. Why I didn't use it, it's because for me it was always nice just to walk those few minutes to the shopping if I really hungry and I don't want to cook. However, I cook a lot for myself. Again, my nutrition is very different from yours maybe, so I didn't order that much, and for me, it was always just nice to go out and get a little bit of fresh air. By the way, in our neighborhood we had Biggie. It's a name of the grocery shop that you find all over. There's few other different chains of the groceries, but this Biggie, it's not very biggie actually, but you're gonna find it all over, and it has most of the time it has everything that you want. There was some problem with me looking for hummus all over. Like I couldn't find hummus. I believe I found hummus only in Costa Rica, but still it wasn't the hummus that I was expecting to see. I found hummus only like a powder in one of the stores, but it was just like a healthy food store. And then also in that place I found some grains, like chia and lentil and much more. Now I went to massage a couple of times. In one place, the first place that I went was I don't think the lady know what massage is. However, the haircut there was nice. I like that. But the second place where I went to massage, this was the place, by the way. Well, I was looking for it all over the internet, but just gonna make it easier for you, just go to this place, Carolina something. Nice treatment. It cost 270 guarani, which is like what, 40 or a little bit less than that. But yeah, as of now I can tell this is the place to visit. It looks good, it looks nice, smells nice, treatment is nice, so decent price as well. So don't spend a lot of time on the internet, just come here. Now I want to talk a little bit about dating. For you to understand, Paraguay very traditional, so you're not gonna find a hookup culture here. Probably the girl is gonna be expecting you to go on couple of dates before it might lead to something more, intimate. Let's put it this way. Anyway, I got some ideas and thoughts about it, some experiences about that, but if you want to know more about it, you can just DM me. You can find in my Instagram here. I can go in more details. But yeah, in general, don't expect a lot of outgoing, girls. Again, depends what you're up to. Here in Paraguay, Asuncion, however, ladies are beautiful. In general, I can tell that ladies are beautiful here. Well, I think it's time to wrap it up. I'm not sure if I share everything that I wanted. Obviously, this video never gonna be perfect, and I'm recording this video actually for the third time. I want it to be perfect because I'm perfectionist, but again, I'm a beginner YouTuber. So thank you for your support. Feel free to support this video with your like. If you like it, consider to subscribe if you want it. And in future videos, I'm gonna be sharing a little bit more about the process of how to get from the airport. I'm gonna show you my Airbnb, so you can literally copy paste that experience when you're arriving to beautiful Paraguay, Asuncion. As I mentioned before, I'll be back. As I mentioned before, all the information that available I'm gonna put down below in the description. Feel free to leave your comments. I'm gonna be more than happy to hear what are your experiences of visiting Paraguay, Asuncion, or maybe living here, so maybe you can have some suggestions, or maybe you have your own experiences. Feel free to share. Well, I'll be back there in about 2 months, so it's gonna be nice to use someone else's experience combined with my experience and spend there another, couple of weeks or a month, or maybe the whole life. By the way, it's a very comfortable city, very green, as I mentioned before, if you want to spend there your life, if you want to be far away from all the craziness of the world. Thank you very much for watching.